I'm the wrecking ball, tearing up the scene. Got my YouTube channel, grab a drink and paint, unleashing art like a...
Hey guys, welcome to Have a Drink and Paint. I'm going to say that again here in a minute. I am my future self before you get to this guy. And this is a Steven Seagal video. I did it with being able to watch the series on Vudu, also known as Fandango, at home. But it will not let me screen record any clips or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and put this video out. But until I can get clips and stuff, I may not do any more. We'll see how it goes. I'm enjoying my drink. I hope you're enjoying yours. Watch this asshole in the past. Alright guys, welcome to Have a Drink and Paint. I am making my drink at the moment. And tonight we are here to do another Steven Seagal True Justice episode 4. I am drinking on this. It is not good by itself, so I am mixing it with Mountain Dew just to keep the color green, because we are going, it's green dragging with ginseng, and the ginseng is strong. Alright, so what are you doing, pretty boy? You finally come to get some attention. Like I said, we're doing episode 4 of True Justice. This show is created by Steven Seagal. That's about all it says. So, thank you for the kisses. He's a good boy. He's my baby boy. He's a good boy. Say hi. That's it. Okay, he's a good boy. Don't lick my hand. Don't want my hand licked. I know. I've got my drink. I hope you get yours. And yeah, here we go. So it starts out, Steven Seagal's on a date. And he meets this girl at a blues bar. And he's like, oh, it's just a cop hangout. Nothing to see here. And then the guy on stage, a live band, calls him out, and he jumps up there and starts playing the blues. Just kind of coincidental with the video I did 2 videos ago. But anyways, Steven Seagal plays guitar. He does play the blues, and he does it well. From there, they're on a sting with bikers. They seem to be trading and selling guns. At one point, 2 of the officers get out, which is very in line with this show. They're very obviously cops, and they just walk up and stand there and stare at them like... And then one of the bikers is like, hey, what's with this suit, dude? And Steven Seagal, who plays Kane in this series, gets on his walkie and says, take him out. So the female officer that's in the sting just cracks him over the head with a bottle. And then a gunfight ensues. A car explodes. People get caught on fire. They end up capturing one guy. They capture most of the guys. But one of them ends up hitting one of the lady cops. So Steven has to have, even though he's got like 20 cops, like there's one right here, one right here, 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 here. he still ends up having to hand fight this guy to whip him into submission. Yeah, I would say police brutality much, but whatever. I guess it's America, so here we are. So he ends up beating this guy up. They arrest him, and then you never hear anything else about him. That's just it. Next thing you know, they end up finding a body, but it's very much in line with the serial killer that they've been tracking in the first 3 episodes. Woman tied to a fence, weird voodoo doll, flower in the mouth, but there's a few things that are suspect. One is that she was strangled after she was dead. 2, she didn't have a left boot on, and a few other things. Anyways, so the ex-husband of the victim is a cop. Apparently he was fired for doing some shady stuff, and they come to question him, and he has a bunch of pictures on the wall of morgue and autopsy photos, and he's trying to make a book. One of the things they find out about the victim is that she was killed with blowfish toxin. So of course there's a guy that sells this kind of stuff locally at like a farmer's market type of thing. Well, in the meantime, a cop from another precinct shows up. Apparently he's a dirty cop because everybody says he is. Again, no proof, no reason. Everybody's just like, oh, I can tell he's a dirty cop. So apparently the neurotoxin is linked to black magic, I guess, even though they don't really show any of that or anything about that. But apparently it's linked to black magic, so the cop from another precinct is pressing the locals, and Steven, aka Kane in the show, is trying to protect the locals. It's a whole ordeal. It gets weird. That is rough. That is not good. Even mixed, that is not good. Okay, so anyways, they end up finding another dead cop. Don't give any information on this one, surprisingly. But the reporter that keeps popping up throughout the episode ends up talking to one of the officers, which is female. She left his mom's work. Apparently she was a famous writer. So anyways, she ends up flirting with him and taking his card and his phone number and eventually later on goes on a date with him. So we'll get there. But it's very extremely obvious who the villain is at this point. Okay, so the detective from the other precinct detains a bunch of locals and is questioning them. Kane comes in and stops him from his questioning and tells the guy to leave. They have a few words back and forth, and Kane ends up whooping Miller's ass in the interrogation room at a police station. And everything's just hunky-dory. Nobody says anything. So anyways, from there, the female cop ends up going on a date with the photographer, reporter, son of the famous lady. And he's got one of her books that hasn't been published yet, so the female is super impressed for some reason. Yet, he goes to buy her a drink, slips some GHB in, she notices it, punches him, leaves, and then tells Steven Seagal. So Steven is like, I'm sorry, Kane. Kane is like, let's pretend we don't know what's going on. So he ends up meeting the reporter for an exclusive report, even though the reporter does nothing but talk smack about Kane. Not suspicious at all the day after that. And he has his, I'm just going to call him his snitch. It's his CI, confidential informant. His snitch pops up more in this show than he does. But his snitch pops up as a waiter, spills some stuff on him, they get some evidence, and all of a sudden Steven Seagal leaves. So dude freaks out, drives straight to a random dumpster and throws away all of his GHB pills and the neurotoxin. So the cops just tail him, find that. So there's evidence immediately. During all this, there is one part where he's like, we'll just tell him this. And he's like, come on, we're the police, man. It's like every episode, he's got to say police. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a drink, because he said it at least once during this episode. If you guys watch this show, you can watch like 3 or 4 episodes. And every time he says police, you're welcome. New drinking game. Drink responsibly. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, whenever he goes in to whoop Miller's ass, he says, nah, this bitch out of control. So, there's that. George Takei is part of this show now, which, if you don't know him, he is Lieutenant Zulu from the original Star Trek series featuring William Shatner. He's most known for his famous line, "Oh my." You're welcome. Best impression I could do. But he is the coroner for this show, apparently. So the reporter shows up, tries to sneak up on George Takei. He kind of catches him, and then another officer shows up, so he disappears. Ends up in the coroner's room with his victim, and like tries to take gloves and hide evidence. But yeah. Pretty much as soon as he leaves the police station, he walks out of the door, and Kane is standing there to throat punch him. That is immediately what he does. And then he throws him through the window, and he goes, oh, he must have slipped. So again, we're on the police brutality side of the spectrum, but whatevs. I mean, not saying he didn't deserve it, but they go through an interrogation sequence where basically they tell him, you're screwed, and he's like, damn, I'm screwed. And then Miller, the cop from the other precinct, is like, how do I say I'm sorry? And he's like, just stay away from here. And that's the end of the episode. It was quite fun for me. I did enjoy watching it. It was very obvious from the beginning, which I assume most episodes are. If you've watched any of the Law and Orders, this is very much along the same lines as that. Just with the undercover twist on it, which they do not stay undercover for long in any episode, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so anyways, hi buddy, I see you. You want to say bye? Say bye, guys. So anyways, that's our episode for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be doing some more of these now that I can watch them again. Yes, he just wants to lay down. But yeah, we'll be doing some more of these. I'm going to eventually go through the whole series, or at least the most interesting ones. This kind of wrapped up the serial killer case, so I'll take a look at the next episode and see if they start another ongoing one or if it's just a one-off, and we'll see what's most interesting and go from there. Yeah, that concludes our 4th episode of Steven Seagal, True Justice. I was doing these kind of like a live stream, but the recording just doesn't want to show it. It's just a black screen, so I've pretty much given up on that. I'm going to the way that I do my movies. I hope that's good with you. I've enjoyed my drink. I hope you enjoyed yours. We'll see you next time for Season 1, Episode 5, maybe if it's interesting, of Steven Seagal, True Justice. We'll see you next time. Have a drink of paint.